Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup Podcast, episode 61. I'm your host, Tommy, this week joined by Murphy.
Hello.
We're back. We're doing a comic book takeover.
Comic book takeover.
If you are a new subscriber here and did not know, I also have another channel where I talk about Tommy's Top Shelf Comics. That is on the YouTube channel, Tommy's Top Shelf Comics. So today we're going to be talking about how to not overextend yourself in collectibles. And we figured while John's away, we do a comic book takeover and talk about comic collections and how to not overextend yourself in comics and get burnt out.
And especially because the two of us sometimes overextend ourselves.
Yeah, but it's like it's a ritualistic thing that we reach this point and then we have one of these discussions and then we call our pull list to a reasonable point and then it starts
Then you
all
can
over
start
again.
over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But before we get too far into it, just wanted to say a couple things plug for the channel. We have a Patreon. If you are interested in joining the Discord, you can join the Discord through our Patreon. We offer uh, the trading card boxes that we do live box openings for you. A couple different cool perks, but the main one being access to the Discord. You can talk with us, play games with us, talk comics. It's a fun space, good group of
Talk Marvel
people.
Snap.
Talk Marvel Snap. There's a lot of Marvel Snap discussion going on in there. But yeah, it's a cool place to hang out. So, what else do we have? We have the TCG store. That is another way that you can support the channel by, if you are ordering cards, maybe check out, see if we have them in stock. The link is in the description below. But yeah,
How's that been going?
good, good. We've been getting some sales. I think we're at like 5 or 6 now. 7? No, we're
Nice.
getting there. We're getting there. It's hard when you have 0 sales because people are like, I don't trust this person.
Yeah. You
So
gotta get that first one and get a good
exactly,
rating.
exactly.
We still gotta try to sell some comics on there.
Yeah, yeah. So TCG Player has started to sell comics, and we've been thinking about putting stuff up. But I don't know. They hide it so well. Like I wonder if people are actually buying and
If
selling
people
it.
actually know there are comics there.
Right.
Well, it's
Leave it.
that's a hard market to get into, I feel like.
If you knew that
There's
TCG
already so
Player
many.
sold comic books, leave a comment down below.
Let us know.
Let us know if you actually knew that before. But yeah, it's a recent thing. But I don't know. I think it's weird because I feel like you want to see the condition of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you can post pictures, but
Yeah, but most of the time they just post the cover, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that doesn't always show what you need.
no, exactly. But so Murphy, how was your week? What did you read? This is normally when we talk about what games we played, but what did you read this week?
Oh man, I've been keeping up with all my stuff. I have too big a pull list, so every week I end up with 15 more books.
Yep.
But again, we've talked about on the other channels, like now being caught up, like it's a lot easier to binge through books because I'm not reading a whole bunch of one. It's
Right,
like
right.
it's an individual issue and then it's done.
Yeah.
But so right now I'm catching up on. I mean, like I have something is killing the children and a couple other image books,
Nice.
stuff like that.
Cool.
And what about you? Did you do anything else this week? Still doing your
I
DC binge?
started well, yeah, I am continuing the DC binge. I have started on my homework and I've been reading Robin
Hmm.
and I think I'm only on
It's
issue like
okay.
3 or something. It's
It's
fine.
okay.
It's
It's fine.
fine. I feel like it's one of those things that like I just have to read it so that I understand and have context for things later that I will actually care about. But
Yeah, yeah. No, that is one. It's like that one you have to at least know what's going on.
right, right.
Um, just because
Which
it
yeah,
so
and it's
heavily
not
goes
bad. It's
into
just yeah,
Lazarus Planet.
right. Again, it's not bad. It's just it's fine.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to see. The I don't know. I'll get there. I'll get there with it. because I really
I
wanna
mean, it's
read
only
the
like
Lazarus
15
event.
issues.
Yeah,
It's only like 15
it's
issues,
not that
so
much
it's
of a
like,
commitment.
yeah, you can get through that pretty quick because they're standard size books too.
Right,
Um, so if you're on DC Infinite, you're just gonna fly through it.
right. But then this is also when I normally talk about our top 5 comics of the week. So we had every week, Murphy and I over on Tommy's Top Shelf Comics put out the top 5 comics for the week video where we pick our top 5. And this week, number 5 was Lazarus Planet Omega number 1, number 4 was Superman number 1, number 3 was Local Man number 1,
Local
Two,
man.
Local May 2 was Nightwing 101, and Blue Book was number 1. There was a lot of ones. I
There
just
were a
realized
lot of,
that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, even
Nightwing
even
is
Nightwing is
101. Yeah.
101. Lots of one.
But yeah. So, if you are interested in any of those books, go check out our top 5 where we talk about them and why we think they should be in our top 5.
Did me spiraling out of control over AI art make it into the video, or was that
Yeah.
just the ramblings of a madman at the end?
I think I left it in.
Because I really did. I like as soon as we got done, I went downstairs. I was like, Courtney, they're doing it.
It's happening.
It's happening. No,
So,
why?
yeah, one of the things that I had discovered was Barbarians or The Last Barbarians.
Last
Number one,
Barbarian.
yeah, was a little, there was some controversy over it because the cover uses AI generated art, which I mean is terrifying for comic book creators. That,
Yeah,
an AI can just do their job, but they can't,
and
and
like
it's
pretty
different.
well.
Yeah.
They did it pretty well. It's
And
definitely different.
yeah, and the backlash was a lot of it was directed at Image Comics, which is funny because they are just the publisher of independent comics, and this is an independent comic, and the cover was chosen by the design team of the comic, not Image. Um, but at the same time, it's a creator-owned book. He's allowed to do
Do
whatever
what he
he
wants.
wants.
Yeah.
But then the
But so
question
the
becomes,
interior art is not AI.
correct. It's just
The
the covers.
interior art is normal, but it's the
Right.
covers.
Right. But I think people are looking at this as like the beginning.
The beginning of the end. That's why I was spiraling. Like, if all of a sudden you can get like, I'm gonna write a comic book and then be like, all right, AI,
What if you
draw,
had
draw it for me.
what if I told you you could have a Spider-Man comic that you could never finish, that you could just keep reading?
I see. Yeah, they're already gonna do that.
Right, I know. Like in 10 years, they're going to be AI written Spider-Man stories where it doesn't end. You can just keep reading and then it will just keep generating story as
Mm, I don't know
you read
that.
it.
Again, I watched the Terminator too many times as a kid. Like Skynet's real,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
instead of just launching nukes, they're starting with our drawing, our art.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a
Um
terrifying concept.
yeah. But so, we wanted to talk about our main topic, which is how to not overextend yourself in collectibles. This in specific form of comic books.
And in general, just managing your your collection,
Right.
because
And
especially
so,
with something like comics, it can get out of control
right.
quickly.
So, Murphy, you said you pulled together a list of things.
Yeah, and I'm having trouble cutting it.
No, so
So
you have your list of comics.
I have
But
my list from Phantom of the Attic of
right.
40 comics that I currently pull every issue of.
Okay.
So I'm looking in my generally I like to get it down to probably about 20
Yeah.
to 25.
Mhm.
Um So that's where I'm at. Is I'm about 15 to 20 comics over where I would normally want to be.
Right.
But it just I get like I'm better at managing like books when it comes to how often they come out, you know, or how long the series is. Some of the books I pull though are like ongoings that will never like I don't want to not have them, but I don't really need to have them.
Right.
You know? And so that's where my problem comes into play. Is not knowing what, you know, like I'm enjoying Wolverine, but do I really need to pull Wolverine every month?
Sure.
You know? But in general, there are a couple rules that, I mean, most of us live by when it comes to comics. And especially, I think a big one I found online with other collectors too is basically don't pull things regularly if you don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I just cut a couple books that I had pulled 3 issues and I was pulling the 4th issue and I was like, "Why? Why
Yeah.
do I have this?" You know? And then another big one is like diversifying what you pull because I
Yes.
believe that, like for me, this point, if you look at my list, it's 65% Marvel.
Yeah.
There's not much variety. Um, as far as DC goes, I only get Batman and Superman, pretty much.
Interesting.
Um, I mean, I have the just oh, and then
Nightwing.
Nightwing,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for me when it comes to DC. Um, so I mean, that's something that part of my desire to cut my list right now is specifically to diversify.
Yeah.
Um, because I just have so many Marvel books, and like my long boxes, I have one for DC and one for independent, and then the rest is all Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. But so you said you found a list of like different things that uh like setting the budget.
Yeah, so
So
kind of like
let's
a
go
it's
through
like
those.
a it's basically a 5 tips for what to do when you have too many comics on your pull list.
Right.
So number 5 being determine your budget for time and money.
Right.
So the fact is that it takes how long to read each comic. So if you pull so many comics that you're ending up with 10 to 15 comics a week, do you actually have time to keep up with them? Now that's kind of what my problem has been in the past is that I don't exactly have time to keep up with all of them.
Right. And
And
I
then we
in my reading, I prefer to let them accrue and build up and then I binge them.
yeah, see that's still the difference between us is I
Yeah.
like I like being up to date. But then you get my COVID week where I read
Yeah.
300
Yeah.
300 issues or something like that. But no, then after that, number 4 like I had already brought up is don't read and pull comics you don't enjoy. So it's easy to get sucked in though to I feel like kind of like me. It's like wanting to make sure that I get every issue of something, but I'm not actually not really enjoying it enough to really want them, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Um so specifically, um I was looking at Venom,
Mhm.
right? Now, one of my priorities is to get rid of, you know, cut down on some Marvel stories.
Right.
But B, Venom, it really hasn't done it for me. There have been moments that do it, but we're like 15, 16 issues in
Right.
now,
Yeah. That's
and I could take it or leave it at times. So for me, that is definitely going to be on my cut list
right.
for this one. Do you have any that you pull that you think you're going to be getting rid of at any time, or probably a lot?
A lot. Yeah. There's going to be a lot. Um yeah, I feel like I've ventured into like the way I pick up books is like I pick a group of books. So like the Bat Family books, I consider like a group.
Hmm.
So if I'm picking up one, I'm picking up the group. That's how I like to pick up comics because they all kind of bounce off each other. So
Hmm.
you have Batman, Detective Comics, Nightwing, Batgirls, Tim Drake Robin, um, I Am Batman.
That's yeah.
Then
That's
you have yeah,
a
it's a
lot of
lot.
them though.
Yeah.
At what point do you stop getting the? Where do you draw the line on Bat Family books?
Um, I don't with I'm bad with Bat Family books. I'm just bad. When
That's
it's
the
that was a bad
weakness.
example because it's like the bat.
I
But
think it's like me with Spider-Man.
yeah,
It's the
exactly.
same
It's
thing.
like the sacred. These are fine, no matter how
Yeah.
good or bad. That's fine.
It's fine.
Uh, but Star Wars is one that I feel like is a better example. Where when I got
Yeah.
into Star Wars, I started picking up all the Star Wars, and there's a lot of Star Wars, especially with the
That is
High Republic now.
that is
So
true. There's two more books.
that's one where I think I would be cutting back. Where like I do like Doctor Aphra, but maybe not the Han Solo book. Maybe not. Well, Mandalorian's finishing up soon, right?
Yeah. Mandalorian. Well, I
And
don't know.
Han
I think
Solo.
they're going to continue to release them as the seasons come out.
That's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, because the
Yeah.
new season's just coming out. So I think it's coming out the next week, right? This upcoming Wednesday.
Yes,
Wednesday.
is Mandalorian
Yeah.
episode 1.
Let's go.
Probably 1 and 2.
That's exciting.
Oh, oh, that is exciting. Um, but that's moving on to more, tips for what to
Yeah.
do when you have too many. One that I swear by and then never follow through with is events aren't worth it.
I have gotten good on this one. I've gotten
I
good
am
about this
not
one.
good at it. Like I told the guys at Phantom of the Attic, next time I tell you, "Ooh, I want every issue," remind me that I don't. Like, like anybody who buys comics these days, with any regularity, has seen how many events come out for either DC or Marvel, and now at this point, it's not there. There are new titles that are being introduced solely so they can be part of an event for 3 issues.
Yep.
You know, and if you have nothing on your pull list, sure, that's, easy. But when you have an extensive pull list and an extensive event, you might as well just stick to the main stuff.
Yeah.
If you're already pulling stuff that's tied in, obviously keep pulling that, but you don't need all the you
No.
don't need
No.
everything.
No.
It truly is like I do it every time there's a Spider-Man event. Every time. Like I used to
The web
pull.
of X, like or the what was
Oh,
that
the
sign?
dark web one?
Dark web,
Dude,
yeah.
and again, I
Again, yeah.
told myself, I was like, "I don't need it all." And then I was like, "Ah, it's Spider-Man and X-Men, sure, let me take it all." And then 3 issues into the X-Men, spin-off title, and I was like, "Why'd I do this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why did I do it?" And especially now with the alphas and omegas instead of just, like, a full event sometimes.
Oh, it's so hard to follow. Like,
Yeah, like
you have to research these events to learn how to
yeah, and
read
there's
them.
so many books.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, an event like what Star Wars has done, now that's a little bit different
Like
because
Hidden
if you
Empire?
already, well, any of them,
Yeah.
what was it? War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Reign, and then Hidden Empire.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, they've done. I mean, it's just been what, a year and a half of
Yeah.
events,
Yeah.
basically.
Event and new
Um,
event.
yeah, just continuously. Now that's a little different because it might be worth picking up everything.
Yeah,
If
and
you
that's the
already
thing is
do.
yeah, that's the thing about Star Wars is I really enjoy almost all the books.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can generally always skip the side stories of an event. Like there will be some holes, but context clues and a little imagination, and you'll fill in what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
So then after that, we look to the number 2 for the tips that I found, which is diversify your titles.
Mhm.
So, like we kind of already touched on, is I have so much Marvel and no DC, but I
Right.
like DC characters, and I think DC's doing a lot of good stuff. So, it's going to be better for me if I cut a good bit of Marvel out so that I can, you know, pick up John Kent going to the Injustice universe?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And then another big one, last thing is if you miss something, you no longer have to go scouring through back issue bins. It's not
Yeah,
like you have to go buy them. Like if you stopped pulling something and you still want to read it,
that defeats the whole
depending,
purpose.
y- well, yeah,
Yeah.
but if you decide you want to, see what happened,
Yeah.
like I have a bad habit of dropping a book 2 issues before it's done. So then at that point I've already read most of it. I can go back and finish the last 2 issues, but not pay for them by using, Marvel Unlimited or
Yeah.
Comixology
And I
or,
think that's
um,
that's a big cheat code here is if you are predominantly a reader, um, I understand the idea of storing your comics and keeping care of them, taking care of them as a possible investment for the future. But at the same time, when you start selling them, no one is going to care. They only care about the single issues. Most people do not buy runs, and so it doesn't matter if you started with a whole run or not.
yeah.
So if you just are mainly focused as a reader, a huge cheat code is the DC Universe Infinite and then the Marvel Unlimited apps for because just if you break it down by price, you're slightly behind, but you're not that far behind. Like DC, you're only a month, Marvel, you're 3, and you can still stay up to date. So, like cutting those books, it doesn't mean that you won't ever read them because in a couple months you'll be able to read them. And if you're cutting them, it's probably because you're not going to get around to reading it between that time, anyways. So,
Now, the only thing I want to add to that is I'm still embedding that Marvel changes their timeline as well.
oh, for sure.
Like,
Yeah, they'll
like,
offer a premium thing as well. That's
yeah, they'll offer pay $20 more a year,
they're just
and
figuring out what they can do to up it. I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah, because now they have to get the comics out the same day.
yeah. Well,
Like,
maybe they're
actually, probably a week ahead of time. Like, I want
digital
next week's
first,
comic.
yes. Yeah.
Digital, all digital first.
Oh, jeez.
Now, another big thing that comes into play, in my opinion, with pull lists specifically is, like we talked about, the length of a run.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
like, I'm looking at this list of 40, and I have to pick out specifically the, you know, things that are gonna be over soon. So looking at it, I honestly might not need to cut a whole lot from my list.
right.
Um,
So
because like, I mean, I have the Batman versus Robin. That's over.
yeah.
As soon as issue 5's out, it's done. Um,
So, yeah, I'll remove that one.
yeah. So that one's gonna be gone. Then let's see what
Same
else.
with Gold Goblin, right? That's how
Gold
many issues is
Goblin
Gold Goblin?
is only 5 issues, and
Okay.
it's, I think, released its fifth issue just now.
Yeah, so that's done.
Um, I pull Justice League. Justice League is over.
Is it so I had a question about that. Is it in so
I
just
think
Justice
it's
League's done for a while?
I think it's just done for a while.
Interesting.
Everything I've read about it says that there will not be a new Justice League title soon, and
Interesting.
that Titans will take its place. So that's the only problem, is that I
It's just
lose
being
Justice
replaced
League,
with
but I'm gonna pick up
yeah,
Titans
right.
because I have a bad habit too of, well, not bad habit. I like to pull the major players
Sure.
a lot of times, like especially with Marvel. I do it. Like if you look at it, I have Spider Man, Avengers,
Yep.
uh,
X-Men.
Daredevil, Fantastic Four, uh, yeah, X Men. Like I pull the major players generally, and that's something I probably don't need to do.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, so the Avengers is starting over. There's going to be a new number one. Um, so I will end up keeping that.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we
Just
do we just want to start at the top and we can work our way down?
Yeah, we'll go. We can do it that way.
So first one is Action Comics. You're super high on Superman. I don't see this going. And
Yeah,
you
and
want to
also
keep your DC stuff.
that's one of the things. Yeah, I've been very excited about what's happening with Superman this year. So I want to at least keep it for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, um, I don't like it as much because it's that big issue format now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
those are pushing me away, honestly.
it's
I was thinking about starting to pick up the Superman family stuff. Like I said, how I pick things up in groups, it would need to be the group. But that has pushed me away from it because I don't know.
yeah, I mean, that's probably one that
I'm sure it's
if
gonna be
any,
fine, but just I don't know.
I might drop Action Comics and replace it with something else. Like The Flash or something like that,
Yeah,
Um,
Detective Comics.
because yeah, it like
Oh, you have it. Sorry.
I've got Superman 1.
Yeah,
Like I've got the new Superman coming out and I want to get The Adventures of John Kent.
yeah,
But like I don't really care for all of the Superman stories that are coming out.
right.
So we'll kind of see what happens with that.
Yeah,
Next on the list, the
Amazing
Holy
Spider-Man.
Grail.
That's we
You
can punt
never
that one,
touch
right?
it.
We can punt that
We're
one.
never, ever, ever getting rid of Amazing Spider-Man
You sure?
because,
You sure?
yeah, yeah, can never do it. I It hurt me enough when I stopped my pull in favor for digital comics
I
a
was
few
so
years
mad
back,
when you did that.
and I missed out on so much stuff.
Yeah.
I was so mad too. Next after Spider-Man, the Untouchable, is Avengers, which
Yeah.
again I will keep just for number one,
Right.
probably, and then I'll see how the first couple
Yeah.
issues go.
That makes sense.
Uh, Either way, I'm getting a copy of number one because John Tyler Christopher is doing a Vision Negative Space cover for it, and I'm about it. After that, we do have Batman, which that doesn't go anywhere either. Uh, then we got Batman versus Robin, which, like I said, is out. It's done after
Yeah.
number five. After that is Berserker, which is also
Well,
over.
yeah, is issue
Yeah,
12 coming out? Yeah.
I think issue 12 is out, if not now, like really soon.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that's gonna be gone.
Okay, I'll take that one
Uh,
then.
Next is Carnage. Now,
Yeah.
Carnage, generally, I would have dropped it at this point, um, but I'm interested to see what happens
Mhm.
because there's another big Carnage event coming, and now I will not pull everything like I did with the last two Carnage events. But I'm interested to see where this one's going. Like this story has been pretty cool, so I'm gonna definitely keep that one.
Mhm.
Now, after that is crossover, which is that Donny Cates.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel like this is almost like a half book cuz it's not always going out.
yeah, so this one, like I said, it's like it's something that I know doesn't come out very often,
Yeah.
so it's like I can always keep it.
Right.
Um, then we have Daredevil.
Yeah.
Can't not
No.
with Zdarsky writing it. Can't drop it. After that is Deadpool. Now Deadpool, I
How's that
picked up.
going?
I mean, it's Deadpool.
Yeah.
It really is just a comic relief thing, but also that ties into the Carnage stuff too, because I guess the next issue is supposed
Oh, really?
to.
Deadpool and Carnage are meeting up?
Yeah, they do a few times.
Mhm.
Did you ever read the Deadpool versus
Yeah,
Carnage
yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing a few years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So now this one, somebody kidnapped Deadpool to grow a piece of the Carnage symbiote inside of him.
Wonderful.
But right now we're playing with the return of Cletus Cassidy,
Okay.
his actual psyche taking over a symbiote again.
Right.
And they say that Deadpool's supposed to have that. So I'm probably going to give it at least, it's on issue 4 is coming up. Probably going to give it 4 and 5 and
Okay.
then kind of see where I go from there.
All right. So maybe.
Um, yeah, that's a maybe. Next is Department of Truth.
Mhm.
Stays.
Yeah. Yeah.
can't can't get rid of it.
No, that's a good
Um,
one.
I'd say that's my favorite of the Tiny in books.
More than something's
Yes.
killing the children?
They're very close, but yeah, I'd say Department of Truth. I enjoy Department of Truth a lot. After that is Detective Comics, so that is going to stay.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
It's your DC.
Batman. It's
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four. I'm about to get rid of it.
You think so?
Um, yeah, I mean I've enjoyed it so far, but
It made our top
next
5.
issue,
Fantastic Four
next
number 4
issue,
made our top 5.
I know. Next issue though is number 5,
Yeah.
so I'll probably just see kind of what happens then,
Yeah.
and then that might be one that I let go.
Yeah.
After that, Gold Goblin though, which we just talked about, is
Yep.
already
Finished it up.
ending, so not a problem for me. House of Slaughter stays.
Yeah.
Tiny and's like Zdarsky.
Yeah.
They're just gonna stay.
Yeah. That's fair. You find the writers you
After,
like and you stick with them.
right. Hulk, I am enjoying, so that's gonna stay. I like Ryan Otley's art,
Yeah.
and obviously Donny Cates is great.
Right.
Uh, Now I hate Fairyland. I just started picking it up. I had never read the original,
Okay.
and it's interesting, but I don't know where I land on this one. What are your thoughts? Have you read any of it?
I have not. I read the first volume and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
So I'm more so just because I know this is probably only going to be like a trade's worth. Just waiting for it to be done and then read it all.
yeah, that's probably a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
After that, we got Justice League. Obviously, like we said, that's gone, but is being replaced, so that doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a immediate swap.
Right.
Um, then we've got Miles Morales, Spider-Man. That stays
Yeah.
because
Part of the
he's
Spider
the man.
family. Yep.
He's part of the Spider family. Yeah. Nemesis Reloaded will be gone in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Because it's
I
only
think
three
I
issues.
think it's a 3 issue run again, maybe 4
Yeah.
at most, but I'm enjoying it, so
Yeah.
either way, it's not
Yeah.
going anywhere. Nightwing
You
stays
sure?
because that's my homie. That's our number one,
Absolutely.
other than, well, Spider-Man, but our collective number one.
Absolutely.
Next we have Noctera. First off, I gotta keep a Scott Snyder on the list.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is
You
this? I
know,
think that's
I
the
I have
only one
2.
right now.
I have
Okay.
2.
Undiscovered Country. Yeah.
Undiscovered Country as
Yeah.
well, but, you know, that's half
I'm really
Snyder.
enjoying Noctera. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Noctera. Now, Once Upon a Time at the End of the World is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
I like it, and I think the story is cool, but I will pick it up in trade.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It's a $5 book.
It's true.
That extra dollar does,
Yeah. Yeah.
do
No.
something. And just in general, I don't think I'm enjoying it enough to really keep it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at on that. Public domain, I'm gonna keep because Zdarsky. and
Yeah.
and it's actually it's an interesting story. It could be trade worthy, but I'm gonna give it a little more time because that's also something I like diversifying into. Radiant Black is gonna stay for as long as they'll have me
Yeah. Absolutely.
because it's a good book. Radiant Pink will be done. I think it was on issue 3
Yeah. So it's almost.
out
It's
of
a
5,
miniseries.
probably.
Yeah.
Red Goblin. I'm not sure if Red Goblin is an ongoing.
I think it's just like Gold Goblin. It's just a miniseries.
Let's see, because I love I love Red Goblin, um, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's not going to be that many issues, anyways. The last time they did a Red Goblin comic, it was literally a one shot. Um, so this one, even if it goes a couple, I'll let that you know be its thing.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
Then next on the list is Rogues Gallery, but I was under the impression that Rogues Gallery was done, right?
I
Because we
thought
got
so.
4 issues, um, and there hasn't been a new issue. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna cross it off, but I'm not gonna tell them to get rid of it because if then another issue comes out,
Right.
I want it because I did enjoy Rogues Gallery quite a bit.
Absolutely. And then that's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one that I would, especially it's not coming out super frequently,
Right.
so I definitely would keep that. Something is killing the children.
Stays.
stays. The Spider-Man, just
Regular
single
Spider-Man
name
books.
Spider-Man, that is gonna be over soon. That's the end of Spider-Verse stuff.
Yeah.
So, but either way, it's Dan Slott, and Mark Bagley. So if it keeps going, then it keeps going.
Yeah.
Next is the main Star Wars line. So the only Skywalker era Star Wars that I pull is the main line.
Interesting.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I might do.
Um,
I might go to that.
like I keep that, and then I read the other ones a little bit behind. You
Yeah.
know, and that's just the way I've always preferred to do it at this point. Uh, After that, we have High Republic and High Republic: The Blade,
The Blade only
which,
has like one more issue, right?
yeah, I think The Blade
Yeah.
is over soon too.
High
But
Republic will stay though.
yeah, I enjoy both of those books, so they both stay.
I did start picking up.
Uh,
I did. They did have the back issue on the shelf, so I picked up. I'm caught up. I have the Blade issues.
oh yeah, they're it's interesting.
Yeah.
I like a professional duelist.
Mm-hmm.
The best lightsaber duelist there is. Next after that is the new Superman,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. So that's gonna stay, and that's part of me diversifying.
Yep.
Next I have Thor. Now Thor is gonna stay
Okay.
because he's one of my favorite characters, and you know he's Thor. I want to keep
All
it.
right. All right. That's fair. We're just not marking many things off.
I know. Undiscovered Country is about halfway over, but that's gonna stay. That's more Snyder.
Yep. And that's on again, off
Vanish.
again.
Yeah, that's on again, off again. Same with Vanish.
Mm-hmm.
It's what, every like 2 months almost. So then I've got Venom. Now Venom, I've decided will get cut.
Okay.
Um, because again, it's like I think that it's a cool story, but it's not getting anywhere. You know that I need to be there with it.
Right.
Wolverine, I am going to cut as well. Just because I don't know. It's cool stories, but there's only so much
Yeah.
of it that I really enjoy fully.
Right. Yeah, that
So
makes
that's
sense.
gonna have to go. And then last is X-Men, and X-Men will stay
Okay.
because that's it.
The whole group thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just like I'll get rid of the Fantastic Four probably, but the X-Men are, you
Yeah.
know, a little bit different. Plus, with how much is going on in the X-Men universe, like I need to have some sort of in.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm going to lose that whole thing. I can go without Fantastic Four or the Avengers, but if you don't have any X-Men books, you're not going to have any idea what's going on.
Sure. No, that
Um,
makes sense.
one, two.
I
I
don't
mean,
see.
that's about 12 books.
So you're
That's
you're at 29 now.
yeah. So I'd be yeah.
The
Well,
maybes,
so
the maybes. So I did go through and highlight these and color code them as we were going through.
hmm
You had the one most likely to go I had was Fantastic Four, which would get you
yeah,
to 28. And then you had one, two, three, four. No. Yeah, four that you're maybes on to some degree. I Hate Fairyland, Deadpool,
yeah,
crossover, and Avengers.
yeah. So crossover, um, I think it's almost over too.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, good. Deadpool again, yeah, I'm gonna give it a few more issues, but I don't mind pulling Deadpool just for the comedic aspect of it.
Sure.
I'm not even so worried about the popularity of the character, um, but it's just fun. I remember the last time they had an ongoing series, and I thought it was a fun book. So uh, he's got a stay of execution for now.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um, I could probably stand to lose a couple more, but
What about all
we'll
these
get
image
there.
number ones? What about Lost Man? Where's Lost Man on the list?
I pull those off the shelf.
Okay, okay.
For the most part, that's what I do. Is I take the number one, and then also I don't think this is up to date because the Last Barbarian is pulled, but I deal with that as it comes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, getting down to 28 would be pretty nice.
Mhm.
That would probably be about a quarter of what I'm spending, uh, a little bit over, cut down. I did get made fun of when I asked for my master list,
Mhm.
because the guys at Phantom were like, usually, like, people get married and then they come in and cancel their pull list.
What?
And he was like, "You're not even married yet." I was like, "I'm not canceling. I'm not canceling. I'm just trimming some, and then I'll be back to what I'm doing."
That's funny.
Also, if I trim it, I can buy more variants.
It's true.
That's the big one.
That is true.
But hey, that's my list.
Cool.
I am very confused about Rogue's Gallery still being on there. Like now, I'm wondering, are there going to be more issues?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought we were done,
Let's see.
but I don't know.
No, I mean it looks like yeah, it looks like it's over.
Yeah, collected edition volume 1 is coming out December 7th. 4 issues.
Yeah, so I don't know. That one's gone then. That's off the list. But again, if all of a sudden an issue 5 popped up, I'd be okay with it. Well,
Sure.
so now, how many books do you think you're pulling? Because if I'm pulling 40, I'd
Yeah.
assume you're pulling more than me.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Um I would have to go through and look. We'll
can't
do
even imagine.
we'll have to do uh stay tuned coming up for Tommy's Top Shelf Comics over on that YouTube channel. I was thinking about putting together a tier list kind of video where Murphy and I sit down and then I'll have all the covers laid out and then we'll kind of go through whether I'm going to keep them, whether I'm going to get rid of them, whether it's a wait and see or they're like ending soon kind of a thing.
Yeah, we'd have to have because that's a big thing too. I time out a lot of books. It's like
Yeah.
if I know the Berserker's on its final issue, then I can pull something else,
Yeah.
or just let it go and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how I justified a lot of events. Is if stuff's not coming out on a constant basis, then I can, pull an event book that, you know, might fill the 3 month span where that it takes for Undiscovered Country to come back.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. Or like a yeah, like a mini short reissue run.
Now, anyone listening though, you don't have to be like me. You can cut more things.
Absolutely.
It's a
As
lot
you
of
should.
FOMO. It's a lot of
But
FOMO.
but
That what
also you've spent a long time in the hobby and you understand which ones you want.
yeah.
And I
And
think it's a
that's
lot easier. I think the longer you're in the hobby, the easier it is to just know what you want at the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I don't pull a whole lot of random stuff. Like I said, I pull a lot of mainstay books.
Yeah.
Just like the heavy hitters of each publisher. Um but in reality I can stand to lose a couple of them. Avengers I was going to get rid of.
Yeah.
Um
I don't think I've picked
is
up Avengers since it's been a long
what
time.
Hickman?
Well, Hickman was the last run I did of Avengers. And then I did pick up when that like Phoenix event was happening. I picked
Mhm.
up a couple issues, and then I was like, "Wait, what am I doing?" And then stopped
Yeah.
again.
I mean, they truly lost me on this last arc. The little Avengers event where it's like the multiversal Masters of Doom.
Yeah.
uh, versus all the Avengers across all time. And then it's going through like three different books, and it's like a million Mephistos versus the Avengers and Doctor Dooms everywhere. I was like, I basically pulled them and then immediately sealed them and put them away.
Yeah.
Um, so that I was about to drop, and then I heard that there's a fresh number one coming out. So I was like, I'll give it at least a try.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And then, but I'm definitely soured enough on the Avengers from
That
this
unless it
last
knocks it out of
run
the park. Yeah.
that unless it's really good, I'll probably stop pulling it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, I know you're on a time limit and we're reaching about 45 minutes here. So, anything else you want to touch on before we wrap things up?
No, just make sure to check us out if you've made it this far. Check us out at Tommy's Top Shelf YouTube channel and Tommy's Top Shelf Comics on Instagram.
Mhm.
Um, we're actually probably coming up on a giveaway.
Hey,
Actually, we should probably do one. Well, we'll do one like next week.
we'll announce it. Yeah. We'll announce it on the top 5 or something.
Yeah. But yeah, so check us out on both of those. The come watch us ramble on about what comic books we like each week.
It's riveting.
it it sometimes is.
Yeah, they're it's a fun time. It's a good conversation. And we enjoy everyone leaving comments down below and interacting with you all and talking about comics. And if you really want to get involved, again, the Patreon's open, Discord's open, so you can come join us and start talking about some comics. So,
Yeah.
well, until next week, we will catch you guys later.
See ya.